right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CAGCast episode number 492. I'm your host, GPD, here in Long Island, New York. And as always, we are joined by the man who is the new voice of ukulele, Wombat.
Hooray. Sorry, I'm falling apart, so I apologize to our listeners.
Oh, right at this moment you're falling apart?
Yes. Well, excuse me.
Evidence.
I have a bit of a cold, and I threw out my back, so I don't know. I'm here, so that's got to count for something, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're exceeding all expectations, Wombat.
Exactly. Already, I've gone above and beyond
by walking into your living room.
What did you do to throw out your back? Is it laughable?
I don't know. I feel like I was just at my son's parent-teacher night, and I spent like a half hour in a kindergarten chair. And I don't know if that's enough.
Is that the kind that has like the desk built into it?
No, it's just a chair that's really small.
Why would they have adults sitting on those? It seems like that's a bad idea for the chairs.
I know. They don't have chairs for adults in there. I honestly don't know.
They can support the adults. They're metal.
And it could just be
they're metal chairs? Okay.
It could just be a combination of that plus the cold. Maybe. I honestly.
It's the general stress that you're feeling, and your psyche is trying to sell it to you as sitting in the chair, but the reality is it's just the stress in your life. Mind over back pain. Dr. John Sarno.
Great. You know what's not going away?
What? Me.
The stress in my life.
Right. It doesn't need to go away. You just need to recognize it as such, and then the pain will go away.
I recognize it. I'm still in pain.
It takes a little more than that.
Then this sounds like bullshit to me.
You have to. No. I am a living convert.
Excellent.
Have you tried learning Kung Fu?
I was gonna go to Kunlun for winter break, so maybe I'll do that.
They can call you Iron Back.
Iron Back. They call me Iron something.
Oi, my back. They can call
my back.
We're going to be talking about Iron Fist later.
I will use my special move, the sore back of many Jews.
Oh boy. Kazoo. Shipwreck, apologize for Wombat. Please.
I'm sorry that you had to hear Wombat say that.
Thank you.
That's good.
I didn't write anything. I don't know. Is there anything going on in your lives that's interesting? I'm trying to think if there's anything going on in mine that's besides.
I just told you I have a cold.
I know.
And now I have
that's
the
not
hiccups.
interesting.
I have the hiccups now.
How about a nosebleed?
Give me an hour before the show is over. There will be blood.
What's the sign say on how many days without a nosebleed currently?
I'm pretty good. I actually haven't had any this winter. I think it's like I think I officially just handed it off to Sabrina, so it's not my problem anymore.
Wait,
I think that's
she's
how it
getting
works.
them now.
Yeah, it's a curse.
Oh man!
So it went from me to her. She gets some. She's gotten a couple this winter, usually in her sleep. So, Yep. What can you do?
Well, I guess we got a lot to get to this week, so maybe we'll just jump right into the show feedback.
Works for me. Not Maya has to say, I like the even-handed discussion on the YouTube stuff last week. I have listened to Colin and Drag on their podcast for a long time, and it feel like some of the hate he got was unwarranted. Specifically the folks who jumped on him for being racist when his milquetoast sexist tweet blew up. But even though I enjoyed them on PS Podcast, he is kind of an asshole. It was really entertaining to see Arthur Geis shit on him on Twitter, because while I actually really like him on Rebel FN, he is kind of an asshole too. No two people I listen to remind me as much of each other as those two. They just lean different ways politically. Not you guys, though. Your podcast is one of my favorites because you are just a bunch of average jerks around my age who always have reasonable takes on stuff like this. Keep doing your thing. See, we're reasonable.
Yeah.
Who doesn't get the big money, though? We need to go
seriously. I looked at that Patreon page once out of curiosity, and I will never do that again.
It was too much.
I honestly don't know much about him at all.
Me neither.
Just just know what, like, I've seen his posts on Twitter, which is what I said last week. I've seen his posts on Twitter. He didn't really do anything for me personally, so I don't know. I've
never listened to one of his podcasts. I've never met him personally. I don't have much of an opinion because I don't know enough to have one.
Well, a general opinion is fine to have, and I think that we did a good job discussing it. I would say that, one thing that I think about is what really set people off on Colin, I guess, was that he put out that tweet, a joke tweet, which wasn't like, a terribly offensive tweet. It was, it is what it is.
It was like a bad dad joke more than anything else.
Sure. But clearly people were offended by it. And rather than just say, okay, I'm sorry if I offended you with my horrible joke. I didn't mean to upset anybody. It was just supposed to be funny. He just went in the other direction, I guess, and was like, oh, you guys, I don't know, whatever term you want to use, generalized term you want to use that conservative people use, you could throw that in there. I don't know. I just don't see what the big deal is about apologizing just in general if you've upset people. I don't know what that really costs you as a person.
I think what I've heard before, and I guess it's, it rings true in this scenario, is just because you unintentionally offended someone doesn't mean you didn't offend someone. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't necessarily apologize if you truly offended someone.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't mean, I'm talking just in general. I'm not talking just about Colin. I just don't know what the big deal is, like, right? What does that cost you as a person? Like your ego? That's not even a real thing. I mean, the real thing is if somebody really thought it was shitty and thinks that you're a horrible person now, is it really that bad to say, oh, I'm sorry about that, and maybe alleviate some of that thought from people's minds? Is that such a horrible thing to do?
Yes, no apologies.
No apologies. Double down. I mean,
that's my philosophy is if you do something terrible, just keep doing it.
Or if you do something that's not that terrible, just
probably just like maybe up the ante next time.
Right. Or deny that it's even a little bit terrible.
Denying's good.
I don't know. I mean, I guess we're older and we're past that phase in our lives, maybe.
I that's certainly part of it, I think.
I realize that I'm wrong a lot. And, if you upset somebody, apologizing will make everybody feel better. I just don't know what the big deal is.